So I wanted to come out here and check on some of my pet fish. And every time you come out here, it's a new set of conditions.
Perfect scenario would be structure, birds, and bait.
You ever catch fish?
It kind of goes without saying that Murphy Dog is always invited.
What do you think about that, boy? Huh? Merce is excited as we are. Look at that. Man. Look at it right here. Look at the school. Look at it. Look at it. Oh, I got one on me. Look at it right here. Oh, we got it. Look at it right here. Look at it. Oh, look at that. Dang. Hey, you know the fishing's good when you can't wait to get rid of a 30-pound redfish.
So catch another one.
So you can catch another one. It's not a bad pair of redfish,
No.
is it?
3 redfish.
Chasing the Sun is brought to you by Island Murata and Stewart Boat Works, from flats to fathoms. Kicker Audio, living loud. Pelican, built to protect. Mercury Marine. And by Z-Man, the science and art of fishing.
When fishing is every part of who you are, you never quit looking for new scenarios, new opportunities.
So I wanted to come out here and check on some of my pet fish. And every time you come out here, there's a new set of conditions. We got to figure out where they're at, what they want to bite, what are they feeding on, what part of the tide. All those pieces of the puzzle come together, hopefully, and they did. When the surface warms up, the big sun, high pressure, these redfish get up on the surface and just float around. And you can fish some soft plastics, anything up near the surface, and see some killer bites.
I couldn't help but when I'm riding back to the marina, see all these pelicans diving, first thing I'm thinking is there's got to be fish over there for those pelicans to be there. I know there's bait. I want to see what's over there. So I stroll over there and there's just wads of redfish right under these pelicans. First thing I do, call my buddy Jordan Todd and say, hey, look, I don't care what's going on, y'all got to get over here and we got to try to get this on film.
And I was actually in Louisiana, out of town on vacation, and when you told me, I said, yeah, I'll be there. I drove all night, got there about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Drove through the night. That's what friends are for right there. So I know what you're thinking. Why would a fishing guide call another fishing guide and invite them to come catch the same fish that they catch every day? But it's redfish, and if we can sight fish them, it's just that much better.
I know we don't get many opportunities to fish together, especially on pretty days, so
Yeah.
I knew to make the trip, it'd be something special.
You ever catch fish? Really, I think these grottos are quieter than...
That's it. Give me a high five. Give me a high five. Give me a high five.
Hey, you've been out of town for a week. He don't want to do nothing for you.
No, he don't.
It kind of goes without saying that Murphy Dog is always invited. He's always welcome. And I know y'all come over to the house, you know, we go fish, stuff like that. But what about like in your professional life as a guide? Does he ride along some then too?
Most of my trips, he's on the boat with me. He, summertime when it's too hot, you know, I don't take him very often, but a lot of my clients, I'll ask them, do you mind if my dog comes along as a deckhand, and they love it. I mean, he brings so much joy on the boat. He gets excited when someone's catching a fish, and then, you know, if fishing gets a little slow sometimes, then people have him to play with and stuff, and he loves it. I mean, he gets mad when I leave him at the house, when he knows I come back from a fishing trip, he's mad at me. So, and I just love having him on the boat.
Well, I do too.
I mean, he knows everything that goes on. He doesn't get in the way. He's
very well behaved.
Oh yeah.
And I did notice he was really loyal to you, when you had a fish on, he was right there with you. But then I also noticed as soon as you let one go and I had one on, he was done with you.
He wants to be in the action.
He was my best buddy.
He definitely wants to be in the action. Anytime he hears that drag go off, it doesn't matter who's holding the rod. He wants to be right there. He wants to see what you got, and he wants to be right in the middle of it.
One thing I've noticed with those birds is different birds can tell you different things. Like a pelican, they can only dive a couple feet. So that's a scenario I know if those pelicans are feeding, the bait's up near the surface.
Hooked up. There we go. I had a feeling that might happen. So Jordan, what do you think is causing this bait to stay up on the surface like that and let these pelicans just bomb them?
Well, what I'm hoping is the redfish are balled up underneath them, pushing them to the surface. That's typically what's happening. So you find the birds, you find the fish.
That's right.
I know we redfish like a lot of different areas, a lot of different scenarios. If you could draw up like the perfect scenario, what would that be?
Perfect scenario that would trigger me to go would be structure, birds, and bait present for sure. Anytime you see all that together, it's bound to happen.
That's not just redfish, is it?
No.
That's like most animal life out there. You got cover, you got food, shelter and all that. It creates that perfect scenario, and this was certainly it. And for me, like when I find that, it always starts with the birds. That's my visual sign that bait is there. One thing I've noticed with those birds is different birds can tell you different things. Like a cormorant, for example, they can dive pretty deep.
Yeah.
So if there's bait 30 or 40 feet down, they can dive down there and feed. So that doesn't tell me that the action's gonna be on the surface at all. But a pelican, they can only dive a couple feet, from the air into the bait. So that's a scenario I know if those pelicans are feeding, the bait's up near the surface.
Look at it right here. Look at the school. Holy. Look at it right here. Oh,
Saw these redfish. I thought I was gonna hook one first, but I hooked a catfish instead.
Oh, it's a catfish.
But what does a nice guide do for you?
Yeah, you held him up on the surface and teased up the fish for me. I appreciate that.
All right, watch, Jordan. We'll leave this guy in the rod holder.
There you go.
There he is. I got the small one. Heck yeah. Murph, look at him, buddy. You excited?
Redfish are curious fish, especially when they're in a pack together. They're eating anything that moves most of the time.
Yeah.
So when you got a catfish or any kind of fish hooked on, if you just kind of dangle it on the surface and let him flop around, a couple of redfish usually come up and look at it, and then you can pitch another bait to them and hook up. Have a lot of success doing that.
Sometimes if that fish is drawing that attention, it's good just to let him keep doing his job and let us hook what we're trying to catch. So we had some killer action on the surface, just like we planned. Mm-hmm. But what do we do once those baits do get pushed back down to the bottom? We go to the structure, because that's the other part of this equation that brings these redfish around. And even though we can't sight fish with our eyes now, seeing them, it's pretty neat having good electronics, using modern technology. If you're gonna succeed at anything right now, you better be using whatever technology is available, especially in the outdoors world.
Yeah.
And we go back up to the bridge, because that's the structure that this bait wants to hide around.
You don't think they went over there that fast, do you?
I think there's a lot of different wads of bait and different schools of redfish. Yeah. Holy cow, no, they're all right here.
You just mark them?
Look at this on this side scan, Jordan. I got a bunch of different views. That's the bait ball. Look at all those. That's all redfish all over it.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I bet you when we get a jig down there amongst them.
How deep is it? 40 feet?
Yeah. It looks like about 20, 25 feet down is where most of the action's at.
We're able to use the side scan and actually look up under these bridge pilings, which looks solid on the surface, but once you look at the side scan up underneath there, you know, you can see the individual pilings and there's big gaps in between there. And when we got up there close, all I could see on that side scan and looking straight under the boat was masses of bait and these giant marks lit up all above the bait ball. So we know now, I mean, we don't see anything happening. The birds are just sitting on the water. It looks like everything's dead. But, you know, 20 feet below the surface, that frenzy, all those fish and all that bait is still there. It's just happening where we can't see it with our eyes now.
Hooked up.
There we go.
I had a feeling that might happen.
Yeah.
Catch a nice sail cat? Nope, that's a red.
That's a red. That's a good one. You hear him? Hear Murphy? He loves that drag. He gets so excited, he knows what's up when that drag starts screaming. There he comes. Not a giant, but a good one. What is it, boy?
I really want to come help you over there, but I'm trying to hook me one.
No, you get it. I got it, bud.
Oh, and there he is. Hey, it's not a bad pair of redfish,
No.
is it?
3 redfish in about 15 minutes.
And now we found them, I bet you we can catch all we want.
Let's get some big ones.
All right, let's do it.
It's a lot more fun to do it when you can see it happening.
We're just floating, drifting right up to them.
Me personally, as a guide, the few days I get, I want to do it when I can see it, when it's on the surface. That's what we wanted.
Oh my gosh!
That was
Look
awesome.
at that.
That was awesome.
That was the floaters.
That was awesome.
So we catch these fish up at the bridge, you know, we're just trying to get the action back going. And once we catch some of those, I mean, that's great. We're catching giant redfish, a light tackle. You would think that's just, I mean, why would you leave that? But as soon as we saw the pelicans diving again,
Right.
we saw the fish on the sonar and we're catching them. So why do we leave that?
Well, it's a lot more fun to do it when you can see it happening. Me personally, as a guide, the few days I get, I want to do it when I can see it, when it's on the surface.
I clicked off. We're just floating, drifting right up to them.
Look at that.
Man. Look at the bait ball right up
underneath them.
Here, we're right on the edge of the bait.
Giant bait ball.
I bet you if you looked at that sonar right now, under this bait ball is just nothing but redfish.
They always want to be in that tight ball, you know, survival in numbers. So, you know, they're constantly swimming and moving, trying to stay away. It's kind of random where they pop up, you know. If you see birds diving, there's a school of bait there. You know, fish are underneath them. They may disappear for a little while. You know, it's chaos. They're trying to run from predators. We're trying to find the predators. Here they are, here they are.
Look at all them redfish. Look at all them redfish. Come on, dudes. You got a shark chasing me. There you go, strip fast. Get her out in front. Look at these right here. Oh, I got one on me. Look at it right here. Oh, we got it. Look at it right here. Look at it. Oh, look at that. Dang.
What we wanted.
Oh my gosh.
That was
Look
awesome.
at that.
That was awesome.
That was the floaters.
That was awesome. Happened just like that, boy. That's quick.
Dang, that is
That's a
stud.
good one. Murph, look at that fish, buddy. That's crazy. I just spent 4 days in Louisiana
I know, right?
chasing redfish.
It's right here.
Drive back, get back at 1 in the
Look at
morning.
one coming up right
Yeah.
here in front of us.
Get back at 1 in the morning.
I'm not greedy at all by any means, but you know, when it's happening, it's happening.
Now that we got back on these fish under the birds, I throw a jig out here and I got one on. Everything's great, right? But I see more fish. I can actually see the fish now all up on the surface. So I'm not just gonna sit there and catch my fish and just watch those. So I wish Murphy could have held my rod, because I needed to get rid of this rod and reel with a fish on it. Jordan's got a fish on. We got more fish than we have fishermen. So I just stick it in a rod holder and grab another rod and then just throw up there and hook up again.
Hey, you know that fishing's good when you can't wait to get rid of a 30-pound redfish
and catch another one.
so you can catch another one. Oh. I think that's a red too.
I believe that might be a red.
There we go.
Man.
Ooh, I hear him drumming. He's playing us a song. You hear that, Murph? He's playing us a song. All right, Jordan, I hear that dude drumming, making that drumming noise. What do you think that is makes that noise?
They use their swim bladder to do it.
Okay.
I know that. I don't know exactly how, but I know they're using their swim bladder to
Yeah, you can
to
see his
vibrate.
belly.
Yeah,
Boom.
flexing. They do that when they're feeding and spawning. They do it to communicate to bunch up. So when they hear that, you know there's more in the area.
Yeah. Yeah, they especially these big guys like that, they don't travel solo.
No.
I guess that's the nature of it. When it's that chaos, like you were talking about, we try to keep it somewhat organized, but I think that moment of chaos is what makes it so fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. Straight there. That'll work.
All right, dude.
Awesome.
So I couldn't have wrote it up any better and actually had it happen any better.
Oh yeah? Are you serious?
Oh yeah?
We did what we came to do.
Chasing the Sun has been brought to you by Native Eyewear, built for the backcountry. Florida Fishing Products, fish better, fish Florida. Dulce Vida Tequila. Extra Tough, the original fishing boot. And by Visit Panama City Beach.
Travis, you know what's really cool, man? Anybody that's grown up or fished along the coast knows that we generally need 2 different boats. Most of my life, I've had a flats boat, and then I've had a big boat to fish offshore with, but we don't need that now.
Now, you know, with the Islamorada, it kind of bridges the gap from the shallow to the depths. You know, it's the neatest. So years ago, guiding, I was losing too many days just being in a big boat or too many days just being in a little boat. So what I found the answer is a middle boat, which is the bay boat. The
That's right.
Islamorada 24 is perfect because I still get to fish inshore, I still get to fish offshore. On days that it's rough, it's not so bad going across the bay, going to the shallow water fishery. Pretty much don't lose any more days if you're in a
Yeah.
bay boat.
Well, most of the time, too, you're forced to compromise if you want to try to do everything out of one boat. You either have a bay boat that doesn't float very shallow, but it's good out in the open water, or you got a bigger bay boat that rides good out in the open water, but you can't get real shallow with it. And we have proven on this Marauder 24 that pretty much any water in Panama City Beach is accessible and fishable on here.
Absolutely, no waters are inaccessible. You know, something else that's pretty neat about this boat is that it's a custom boat. You know, anything you want to do or dream about, these guys will do for you.
So I couldn't have wrote it up any better and actually had it happen any better, because of course it doesn't always happen exactly how I want it to happen. But it did this time. It's kind of nice, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know, the
it's-
fish were there, the weather's great. You showed up.
Hey, it's rare to have everything kind of fall into place and work. And that's one good thing about this area is when it falls into place and it's right, man, it's hard to beat. Beautiful weather, catching fish, great scenery. I mean, it's worth it.
Oh yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
You got a sail
Give me a
cat.
sail cat. I ain't caught one all day.
What do you
Oh,
call
that-
them, a snot shark?
Yeah, it's not sharp.
That is a snot shark.
Oh yeah.
For sure. I can see them circling.
I can feel
now.
that. Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom.
All right. Oops.
Had it. Oh, there's red right here.
Is
Red's
there
right
really?
here. Follow me. Just like before. Old snot shark.
We did what we came to do.
Day was done. It was time to pack it in.
Jordan was ready to go take a nap.
Yes, yes, I was.
He'd been away for a lot of hours.
Yes,
so
I was.
It worked out just right.
It did.
You always got to end the day with a catch, no matter what. Isn't that right, Bubba? Isn't that right?